and welcome back friends to the Biochem Bay channel. Our today's topic is metabolism. What is metabolism? So metabolism is the whole range of biochemical processes that occur within a living organism. So metabolism is basically the range of biochemical processes that occur within a living organism. Metabolism is consists of anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is the buildup of substances and the catabolism is the breakdown of substances. So when the building block is combined and make the larger macromolecules, then we will call it as anabolism. And when these large molecules or macromolecules are break down into their building blocks, then we can call it as catabolism. So metabolism is consist of anabolism and catabolism. The term metabolism is commonly used to refer specifically to the breakdown of food and its transformation into energy. Here in this diagram, the catabolism and anabolism is shown. Now first, in the process of catabolism, the energy containing nutrients such as carbohydrate, fats and proteins are broken down into energy depleted end products such as carbon dioxide, water and ammonia. During this process, the ADP, NAD+, NADP+ and FAD is converted into ATP, NADH, NADPH and FADH2. But while during the process of anabolism, the precursor molecules such as amino acids, sugars, fatty acids and nitrogenous bases are converted into the macromolecules such as protein, polysaccharide, lipids and nucleic acid. During this process, the ATP, NADH, NADPH and FADH2 is converted back into the ADP, NAD+, NADP+ and FAD. Now, the ATP or adenosine triphosphate is the main energy source of the cell. This is the ultimate source of energy. The ATP is used for muscle contractions, for example during exercise and also during the different activities of enzymes. The catabolism results in the production of many ATP molecules, or we can say energy. So during the process of catabolism, we are able to generate the ATP molecules. And it is used by body when energy is needed. These ATP molecules are used when our body needs energy. For example, during the exercise. But how we can use that energy that we are just made? So we can consume that energy via hydrolysis of ATP. Hydrolysis is basically when we add water into ATP, the ATP molecule is broken down into ADP and one phosphate molecule is released. ATP or adenosine triphosphate is converted into adenosine diphosphate and one molecule of phosphate is released. Via breaking these bonds, we are able to get the energy. Metabolic efficiency. Food energy is converted into ATP with approximately 50% efficiency. The other 50% is released as a heat. So that is metabolic efficiency. Now where does metabolism occur? So the site for metabolic activity is the cell. But among all the cells, the liver cells are the most metabolically active. Now, how is energy produced? So, there are mainly three stages. The first one is proteins, carbohydrates and fats are broken down during digestion and absorption into smaller units such as amino acids, monosaccharides and fatty acids. So, in the first step, the macromolecules such as proteins, carbohydrates and fats are broken down into the smaller molecules or building blocks, such as protein is converted into amino acids, carbohydrates converted into the monosaccharides, the fats converted into fatty acids. During the second stage, these smaller compounds, amino acids, monosaccharides and fatty acids, are further broken down into two carbon compounds. Now, this two carbon compound is acetyl-CoA. In the third stage, the compounds are degraded into carbon dioxide and water. In the third stage, the acetyl-CoA is completely digested into the carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so these are three stages. Now, let's remember again, the protein, carbohydrate and fats or macromolecules are broken down into their building blocks such as amino acids, monosaccharides and fatty acids. Now, these building blocks are further degraded into two carbon compounds, for example, acetyl-CoA. These acetyl-CoA is further degraded into carbon dioxide and water into the TCA cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay. Now, let's just look at helpers in the metabolic reactions. So, there are two helpers. First one is enzymes. We all know that enzymes are biocatalysts. Enzymes are proteins that facilitates chemical reactions without being changed in the process. Okay. The second one is coenzyme. Coenzyme assist the enzyme in their activities. Okay, so coenzyme helps the enzyme to do its specific activity. Now, let's look at the breakdown of nutrients for energy. So, there are three main breakdowns. The first one is glucose breakdown, the second one is glycerol and fatty acid breakdown, and the third one is amino acid breakdown. In the figure you can see that fats, carbohydrates and proteins are first converted into their building blocks, and these building blocks are converted into two carbon compound, and via common pathway, or we can say as a TCA cycle, they all converted into energy. Now, let's first look at the glucose breakdown. The glucose breakdown is known as glycolysis. In the process of glycolysis, the glucose is broken down into pyruvate. A glycolysis is a reaction in which glucose is degraded into molecule of pyruvate. Glucose is a 6 carbon compound and it degraded into two molecules of pyruvates, which is a 3 carbon compound. The net profit is 2 ATP. It is an anaerobic pathway. When there is less oxygen or no oxygen available, the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid. But when the oxygen is available, the pyruvate is converted into acetyl-CoA. Now, the second one is glycerol and fatty acid breakdown. Triglycerides are broken into glycerol and fatty acids. Triglycerides are made up of the molecule of glycerol and 3 molecules of fatty acids. Okay, these fatty acids during the lipolysis or beta oxidation generates the molecule of acetyl-CoA. The third one is amino acid breakdown, such as deamination, transamination. Okay, when amino acids is converted into keto acid and ammonia, we can say it as deamination. Okay, urea is excreted via the kidneys via urination process. Okay, water is needed for urea excretion. We look all three in the detail in the upcoming lecture series in the carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism and fatty acid metabolism lecture series. Now the ultimate stage is a TCA cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle. It functions to convert acetyl-CoA into carbon dioxide to produce energy. The oxaloacetate combines with acetyl-CoA to begin the cycle. Now, oxaloacetate is a 4-carbon compound and acetyl-CoA is a 2-carbon compound. These two molecules are combined and make the 6-carbon compound, the citrate molecule. Okay, citrate molecule is generated and start the whole cycle. At the end of the cycle, we are able to get oxaloacetate back, oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA back. Okay, but during this cyclic process, we are able to generate NADH, FADH, etc. and ultimate end product is carbon dioxide. The result, we produce potential ATP. Okay, because the NADPH, NADH, FADH2 is all converted into ATP into electron transport chain. The NADH is able to generate around 2.5 ATP and FADH2 is able to generate 1.5 ATP. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the electron transport chain. Electron transport chain is the primary site for ATP synthesis. Okay, it uses the oxygen to convert products of TCA cycle into energy. Now, why fat is higher in energy than all other molecules? So, fats are the most reduced form of macromolecule, right? Fats, carbon hydrogen bonds can be easily oxidized and yielding energy in the form of ATP. For example, one glucose molecule yields 38 ATP when oxidized, but one molecule of fatty acids, around 16 carbon, or we can say a palmitate, will yield 129 ATPs when oxidized. Okay, so fats are most reduced form. That's why upon oxidation of fats, we are able to generate the maximum amount of energy, right? So this is all about metabolism, and we are just have basic idea about what is metabolism. And upcoming video lecture series, we are going to separately look at each and every pathways such as glycolysis and glycogen synthesis, gluconeogenesis in the carbohydrate metabolism. Also, we will try to look into the protein metabolism and the fat metabolism, and also we are going to look at how these all pathways are regulated and maintain the homeostatic condition of the cell, right? So thank you so much for listening it very carefully, and please do subscribe to the Biochem Bay channel, like the channel, comment and also share it with your friends. We are also available in each and every social media platforms. You can DM us for your any doubts and queries. So feel free to contact us, and you are also welcome to give suggestion for our next topic. So stay tuned until the next video, and make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe to the Biochem Bay channel. Thank you very much.